Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Burnley nil, Manchester United 1. 3 points of Manchester United, much needed 3 points, much needed clean sheet as well. But I mean, damn, they made hard work of it, Manchester United, and perhaps to be expected as well. This is a side that is on the brink when it comes to injuries. I mean, it's a squad at breaking point, and it is a much valuable 3 points because this was a game they could easily have lost. But also at the same time, I think you couldn't really expect much more from this team because it's just not a very good 11 that took the field. But that being said, I thought Burnley they had their moments. Burnley had their moments. The chance for Amdouni which hit the post. I mean, there was another shot. I think I don't think it was Amdouni. I think it was somebody else that had the header. I think it might have been by Brownhill. Was it maybe Brownhill who had the header that was saved by Onana? I'm not sure, but there was one there. So they had their moments. Unfortunately, they just lacked a little bit of cutting edge in front of goal. They didn't look like they had that conviction in front of goal. Oftentimes, they play too much, overplay the ball, especially when playing out from the back in midfield. A lot of times, the passes were sideways or backwards. Koleosho I thought did really well for a time. Then was moved over to the right when Goodmanson left, and I thought that was a stupid decision from Vincent Kompany, if you ask me, because he was having so much joy against Dalot on the left. He got him booked as well, and then suddenly Kompany decided, well, go play on the right for whatever reason. Like, just keep him on the left, let him get the better of Dalot and do something there. But moved him on the right, and it almost killed his he still did well, but I think it almost killed his momentum a little bit, having to play from that right hand side, because Reguilon is a little bit better, was a little bit more was able to really kind of work against him, probably because of the opposing foot, right? When he was on the right, he was probably trying more to go to the byline and make crosses, and I think fullbacks these days are better at doing that. Like, they hate they're more used to they're used to, like, having to defend when players come in field, whereas I think when you go down the line, players are not that effective. But nonetheless, that I thought was a stupid decision from Kompany. He tried to revert it back in the second half, but they kind of tried to switch, but by then I think the momentum was lost for him. There was the Trafford for me. I think there's a major Trafford is very good with the ball. He looks really good when he passes around. His saving capacity, though, I think that there's something to be said, and maybe that's the thing for modern goalkeepers. I mean, we say that about Onana as well. Someone who's very good with the ball at his feet, but really can't save shots as well. I think you can say the same about Trafford. He looked really good in the under 21 Euros as well. I watched that final, and he looks so calm, so assured with the ball. When it comes to shot stopping, I think he is a little bit suspect at times. But that being said, Manchester United got 3 points, and United had twice had the ball in the back of the net. They were the only team to have the ball in the back of the net, and they did it twice. The first time was to Johnny Evans, which I was like, well, those are headlines that write themselves, right? Because when I saw that team, I'm like, Evans got, what the hell? Why is Evans starting? Because everybody else seems to be falling down like 9 pins. So Evans has to start. And I thought that is a liability. I thought Burnley could have made much more advantage of that. To have a player. Evans shouldn't be starting for Manchester United in 2023, but there he was starting, and I feel like Burnley didn't take advantage of that. But he is the one who gets the ball in the back of the net in that first half. It's a good, and that from a corner. Manchester United never score from corners, and he gets the ball in the back of the net from a corner. As it turns out, it's ruled offside because Manchester United VAR basically has it in for Manchester United this season. That's all I can say. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, it just looks like Manchester United don't get the rub of the green from the referees. It's almost like every goal has got to be a perfect goal. Otherwise, referees are looking for reasons to disallow Manchester United goals. And that one could have been was disallowed as well because of offside against Hojlund. Saw a similar goal that Manchester City had scored, and that was given. So maybe if City were, maybe if United were playing in a sky blue t-shirt, maybe that would have been given. But they're playing in white, with the United logo on it, so therefore it was ruled out. Probably was the right decision. I mean, you know what? When I looked at it in the second, at first when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's got to be offside. But when I looked at it in the second, I was like, maybe that might not be given because I don't think Hojlund was necessary. He was blocking Trafford's movement. I don't think he was necessarily blocking his line of sight. But that being said, maybe it was the right decision. VAR offside. I don't know anymore how those things work. I don't think anybody can really tell me how that works anymore. But yeah, whatever it was, people won't talk about it much because United went on to win the game in that second half, which they did. And that, if I know, but they won in the first half. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's the first half. It's got there. Yeah, it was the first half, right almost towards the end of the half. It's a fantastic volley from Bruno Fernandes. The pass from Evans was excellent. Lindelof does that very well. Martinez does that very well, and Evans here showed that he can do it as well. It's a wonderful crossfield pass, but that shot from Bruno is chef's kiss shot from Bruno Fernandes, and he finds that corner. I think maybe David De Gea probably might save that, because I don't necessarily think Trafford gets his angles right. And that's something I talk about, the shot stopping, but it's a fantastic finish from Bruno Fernandes. Brilliant shot. It's 1-0 to United. Burnley had their moments in the second half as well, where they got in, they had some very good crosses where the centre forwards just didn't gambled on taking a run. There are opportunities where they got into good areas and then they picked the wrong pass or they picked the wrong options. So they had chances. It's just that they lack that cutting edge or that experience. Maybe part of it is that Burnley are a very young team, so they don't have that experience to be able to make the right decisions at the right moments. And they allowed Manchester United to get away with quite a few opportunities, and openings, and so that's something to be said. But ultimately, United hold on; they get the 3 points. The sad part for United is that there's another injury to contend with. Sergio Reguilon going off with a hamstring injury. God alone knows how long he's going to be out for. But they have a crisis because they're out of left backs now. I think they, United, Malaysia is out, Shaw's out. Fernandes has gone away on loan, and they brought in Reguilon to cover for injuries, and now he's injured as well. So God knows who's going to play left back, right back, because maybe Dalot moves over to left back, but then who plays right back against Palace in the League Cup? That's going to be a massive question mark. But that being said, I was intrigued by the team selection, because one thing I did like Hannibal maybe starting. I thought he should have started today. I think he played very well against against Brighton. And I was like, okay, he shouldn't start against Bayern, because that's a big game. He plays there. If he doesn't play well, much the same. I didn't expect, Pellistri shouldn't have started that game either, because the thing is, Pellistri was average. He was like a 6.5 out of 10. And, he gets dropped because it's Bayern. You're not going to do that well against Bayern. And he was dropped. For that reason. But maybe if he had played that game, and again, if he was average, then maybe he would have been dropped as well. So it was good that he didn't start that game. It's good that he started today, because he comes in for Eriksen. I thought he did quite well. Again, 6.5 out of 10 wasn't a great performance by any stretch of imagination. But the fact that he started this game, I think, shows that maybe Ten Hag has faith in him. I'll be interested to see how many more games he starts now that Amrabat might start games, whether maybe he will still start, or will he be coming off the bench, or will it be, will Amrabat start in place of Casemiro? Will it be Casemiro and Amrabat together, which I think should be the case. But still, I was happy that maybe he started. At first, I thought the formation was going to be 4-1-2-1-2, which is exactly not what I wanted to see. Then I saw it was 4-2-3-1, but quite frankly, Bruno on the right and on the left is not an answer either. But he did score a goal from the right wing, so what do I know? But I still think that if he's going to play 4-2-3-1, it shouldn't be Bruno on the wings. It should be Pellistri or Garnacho playing on the wings. Bruno's got to play number 10, and you didn't have to start McTominay. McTominay should have been dropped. It should have been Hannibal and Casemiro starting, because I don't think McTominay really offered anything in this game. Yes, he made I think one interception, and he had a couple of decent passes, but really he doesn't offer much. I think you're better off starting a fast winger, particularly because United were playing on the transition and they were getting a lot of counter-attacking opportunities. If they had a fast winger in the position where Bruno was, maybe they could have made more of it. And Bruno playing in the position that McTominay or Hannibal was, he would have been able to pick better passes. So those are things, but ultimately I think maybe Ten Hag wanted that extra midfielder in there. Probably thought that Burnley gonna have more of the ball, so let's try and compact that midfield, make it tight, and force Burnley to go out wide rather than having the freedom of the middle. But that being said, I think it kind of just about worked. But I hope we don't see that too often this season. Injuries permitting, of course. When there's options, I wouldn't want to see Bruno starting on the right wing. That being said, as I said, it worked out well, and that's all that matters from Ten Hag's perspective. He needed a win. I think whatever way it came, he needed a win. And speaking of needing a win, I think Kompany needs a win soon as well. Burnley are now still winless after 6 games. That is not good. I do think Burnley and Kompany were a bit overrated when they came. A lot of people thought they were going to take the Premier League by storm. Many people thought they were going to be one of the enterprising teams of this campaign. They haven't been anything like that. At times they've been too open. It's probably it says more about Manchester United that they could only score 1 goal today, as other teams have put 3-4 past them. then that's probably a reflection of where Manchester United are. But I didn't think Burnley were that impressive today. Some people might say, oh yeah, they got 70-80% possession. Look how great it is, but it wasn't. The fact is, a lot of that possession was just sterile. It wasn't until Berg and J. Rodriguez came on when they actually started to look like they might hurt Manchester United. Aside from those two chances that were there, which I think were both really the first one, definitely the first chance that fell for Brownhill, the header for Brownhill was an error which Rashford caused by not tracking back properly, and then the chance for Amdouni was a good one, which he probably should have scored from. But aside from that, I really don't think they did much until Rodriguez and Bruno Larsen came on and Berg came on, and they looked quite good then. But maybe they needed a bit more experience in this game. I think that was maybe naivety from Kompany to start so many youngsters. But that being said, I think he needs a win. He needs a win quickly because at this moment, because here's the thing, I think Luton will probably get relegated, and I think Sheffield will probably get relegated. I think those two spots are pretty much confirmed. So you're really fighting for one between Everton, between Wolves, between Burnley, and between maybe Nottingham Forest will be in there as well. Maybe Bournemouth might be in there as well. So you want to make sure that you are not that one. There's a lot of teams in that cluster jam, and you want to make sure you're not that one that gets dropped in. So Burnley needs to start. I don't think Burnley will be that team. I don't think Burnley will be the third team that gets relegated at this point in time. But you need to start picking up points. You can't just rely on, well, I don't think, right? At some point, you've got to get points on the board. I didn't think Leicester were going to get relegated last season either, but then they did. So from Kompany's point of view, he needs to start picking up points. Maybe he needs to do some tactical tweaks, some tactical adjustments. Because whatever he's doing now is not working, right? Maybe you need a bit more directness in play. And Kompany will be disappointed. I think the fact that he lost to Manchester United will probably grate him as a City legend. But that being said, these are not the games that will define Burnley's existence in the Premier League this season. So he can rest easy about that. But still, this is a United that was in a tough period, and not being able to pick up 3 points might grate them a little bit there. But there's still time. It's only 6 games in, so there's a long way to go before we start making predictions about any sort of thing. So let's see what happens. But nonetheless, congratulations to Manchester United. Well done. 3 points. I'm happy. Finally, something positive to talk about in some ways. Smash a like for Manchester United. Smash a like for Bruno Fernandes if he was your man of the match. I was tempted to give it to Johnny Evans because I thought, the fact is he did score a goal and he did assist a goal. Now that goal was chalked off. And I was tempted because 35 years old, a lot of people wrote him off. And I thought, maybe I should give him the man of the match just because of low expectations that I had for him and how well he did. But I think Bruno deserves it. I thought aside from that goal as well, there were many moments where he was probably doing a lot of good stuff. He was very, very vocal, put in a lot of good passes together. And you know what? At one point, I thought I was going to say, look, Jamal Musiala made him look very average when in midweek against Bayern, and I thought Aaron Ramsey kind of overshadowed him before that first goal went in. So I was kind of thinking about how good is actually Bruno Fernandes, but guess what? He's proven me wrong. He had a good game throughout that. He had a good game, and Ramsey kind of faded. So still hope for him. So man of the match. So smash a like for Bruno Fernandes if he is also your man of the match, and share in the comments if somebody else is your man of the match. Let me know. Maybe you think it should be somebody else. Rasmus Hojlund, pretty average today, by the way. I should mention that as well. Rasmus Hojlund didn't have a good game. But that's okay. He's 20, right? He's going to have good games, and he's going to have bad games, and he's going to have average games. That's going to happen. He shouldn't be a starting striker for Manchester United at this point in time, but he is, because there's nobody else who's better than him, which says more about United than it does about him. So, but that's going to happen, and therefore, it's important for other players to step up and score goals when he does have these kind of average games. But you can't put that kind of pressure on this guy to get 20-30 goals a season right now. You can't do it. But like I said, he wasn't that good. Got to mention it. I'm mentioning it, but that doesn't mean he's a bad player or that he's crap now. Just got to give him time, and that this is going to happen. Like, people who are thinking he's going to score 20-30 goals, this is a reminder and a reality check for those people that no, it's not going to. It doesn't work that way. Football doesn't work that way. He's not going to get 20 goals this season. He's not going to have 10 out of 10 performances every game just because we hype him up. He needs time, and he needs to settle in, and it will be a while before we see the best of him. Anyway, that's it. Share the comments on that as well if you want, and do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We put up a lot of videos today, so do check them out. And we'll be back again tomorrow with more match reactions and stuff like that. So subscribe to stay tuned to that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day or night, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.